As you know, the panel of today is Living Cities, Smart and Sustainable Mobility. And this is very relevant. And it's very relevant, why? Because we are facing new challenges linked to the growth of the cities and the sophistication of the mobility, and the fact that we need to keep the balance also with sustainability. And the perspective of MasterCard is this challenge is so big that it cannot be addressed by only one player. So this is why we support public and private initiatives which have as objective to create or to make our urban areas more efficient, more sustainable, and more inclusive. And this is why we have the luxury today of this fantastic panel. We do have Ana Espárrago. She is Director of Diversification in Mutua Madrileña. We have Ian Silverstone, which is Managing Director of Operations in FedEx. And we have José Benjumea, which is CEO and founder of Power. And I would like to start the panel with a quick question. I'll let you also introduce a little bit about your company and yourselves. But regarding, what is the biggest or the most relevant opportunities and challenges that our cities do have in terms of mobility? And then, if we have the time, what is how your companies are addressing these challenges? So, Ana, all yours.
All me. I think that one of the most challenges that we have detected, if right now the people it's super worried about the environment, and it's also that the mobility needs in the urban city it's increasing. So, for our perspective, as a company, we need to guarantee the balance between the environment and the mobility needs. So this is our big challenge for an insurance company as Mutua Madrileña. So it's true that we right now we are not worried for cover only the insurance in a private car. So we need to give our client always in a customer centricity perspective cover needs. What kind of needs? I mean, the mobility right now, it's changed a lot. We have the sharing things, we have all the ecosystem, all the platform in multimodal way. So Mutua want to give to our client not only the insurance car, we want to say, don't worry about if you cannot enter with your private car in the center of the city. We, as Mutua, as our client, we provide to you the solution. What the solution? The solution is to provide our client an investment as mobile, and we give our client the micro-mobility assets, like bikes, motorbikes, car sharing. Also, we right now bought El Parking and Imbric. It's a multi-platform for mobility, so as a client of a Mutua, you can pick up and say, hey, I want to go to my office in a motorbike, and I want to go to my, whatever, shopping in a car sharing from Mutua, and I want to go to everywhere in a taxi, and you can take these kind of things in a Mutua ecosystem. Mm-hmm. So for us, it's true, it's a challenge. All has the mobility. It's changing because it's changing our core business. We cannot forget that Mutua is an auto insurance company, but it's true that our values, it's not gain money, that's true, but also it's to provide solutions and services to our client, and because of that, we cannot want to lose this client. And you say, hey, don't worry if you don't have 2 or 3 cars, don't worry if you don't have used too much your private car, but we provide to you different solutions. And this is for us how we can contribute to balance the environment, don't using too much a private car, but also guarantee the mobility needs for our clients and for the city in Madrid, which Mutua it has to play a big role in this kind of changes.
Okay, Ian, what are your thoughts on?
Yeah, good afternoon, Ignacio.
Yep.
Good afternoon, Ana, Jose. Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you very much for asking the question, and thank you for this organization, for this magnificent event. If I can put FedEx in perspective, just to talk about the company. FedEx is a worldwide company, 450,000 employees, serving 220 countries, territories worldwide, moving about 15 million packages a day. If we talk about Europe, where we are located at the moment, we're over 50,000 employees with covering 50 countries, 30,000 motorized vehicles, 1,000 stations, moving about 2.2 million shipments a day. That's just Europe per day. So, I mean, one thing that we're really looking at FedEx is absolutely decoupling. And I really like the word of decoupling what is the growth of a company with the emissions, with the carbon emissions. And you're talking about the challenge. I think the challenge, and I'll talk about the solutions to this challenge, the challenges that we have at the moment is really bringing logistics to the heart of the city centre. And that's not always possible. That has allowed us as a company to experiment with different solutions. And we were just talking outside here, what we are seeing is that every time that people are buying more online, and what we're seeing is that as purchases increase online, more deliveries and more restrictions in the city centre. So we really need to look at how we can provide a sustainable and emission-free solution. And that's why I think a couple of weeks ago, maybe about a month ago, FedEx worldwide declared its ambition to achieve zero emissions or carbon neutrality by 2040 at a global level for the global operations. Quite a challenge, but that has to be sustained by something. One of the ideas that we're using at the moment is the cargo bike. A cargo bike is capable of reducing CO2 emissions by about 6,700 kilos of CO2 per year, and is absolutely emission-free. We're actually testing these or using them in Barcelona, where really you can get into a city centre that's restricted, pedestrian area, and do deliveries. There is a weight restriction. We're not capable of moving 50 kilo shipments in a cargo bike. Otherwise, the cyclist would probably end up with his tongue out and a little bit tired. But 25 kilo shipments we can move. And then there's other opportunities and initiatives that FedEx is taking on a worldwide level, and especially in Europe. We have one which is called the Safe Cycling Advocacy Program, SCAP. This is basically funding through charitable donations to an alliance of NGOs, non-government organizations, to really work together with the European Cycling Federation to provide, a sustainable environment, safe environment for cyclists. And I mean, not only for public cyclists, for people using cities on bicycles, but also it's in our interest to promote the cargo bicycles as well. And this is something that we're seeing is being taken very well. In fact, it's the third year we're helping this Safe Cycling Advocacy program, and we're initiating some bicycles in Bologna in Italy, in Torun in Poland, and also in Valencia. So in the coming months, we should be seeing that in Valencia as well. But just to finish, and I mean, I'd say that's a nice short-term non-emission solution, but as far as a sustainable solution towards the future, we're looking at the electric vehicles. Mm-hmm. And I think there's a lot of development in this area that needs to still continue. But that said, with what we're doing at a global level, we want to electrify or make an electric fleet by 2040. There's an objective by 2025 to have 50% of the new vehicles all electric, and by 2030 to reach 100% of electric vehicles, so that we can reach this 2040 carbon neutral objective or achievement. So basically, I mean, we're looking at a big company that we don't want to grow in emissions as we grow our business, and especially with the increase of online sales. We're looking at these cargo bike solutions, but it really does depend on cities and what solutions they can provide. I mean, I think we're in good path to be carbon neutral by 2040 with some of these and other solutions that we've got up our sleeves as well that I haven't talked about today.
Oh, that's very impressive. Jose, what do you think? What are your thoughts on this?
I think electric mobility is going to happen, or even is happening right now. And it's an opportunity because, first of all, it's clean. I think we were used in the past, a few years ago, people used to smoke in restaurants. And today, no one smokes in a restaurant. And we are in a better position than we were before. No? So I imagine that in the very near future, cities are going to have clean air, and we are not going to allow no one to enter with a car in a city. Walls will be clean. So first opportunity, to be clean. The second opportunity we have is that it's cheaper to charge a car or whatever, a bicycle, whatever, with electricity than with petrol. And although price right now is expensive of electricity, with solar, with storage, electricity will become close to free. So let's use it. It's cheaper. So second opportunity, you save money. And the third one, is cool. I don't know who of you has drive a car or a motorbike that is electric. It's amazing. Once you prove or test one of those, you don't want to drive the old cars. So it's cheap, it's clean, and it's cool. So 3 fantastic opportunities to have an electric car. So which are the challenges? So we have 2 challenges, in my point of view. One is electric car can be expensive. I don't know when to change. Well, you have Mutua with car sharing. Perfect.
Sharing.
So there is an opportunity. So it's a challenge. No, you have very cheap mobility with bikes, car sharing, even taxis, whatever. So I think that challenge is going to happen for sure, and we need to see how we solve it, especially for long distance. But intercity is something that we can solve quite easy. And the second one that you were mentioning before, Ian, is how you charge all those cars and all those flutes that we need. And this is something that also we can do it. Cities normally are places with a lot of electricity because there's very good connectivity for cities. It's just to design the cities in such a way that you can charge a car very quickly. Just to give you an example, today you can charge 100 kilometers in 10 minutes. Okay. So it's not so difficult. No? So for me, it's absolutely clear. It's clean, cool, cheaper, and the challenges will take 5 years, 6 years. It's a question of time. But it's going to happen, and thanks God, it's going to happen. Otherwise, we will continue smelling the smoke in the city.
Great. Well, I do have some more questions, so let's get the debate. We have still some time, so that's very good, very positive. Anna, I would like to ask you more on the specifics of mobility as a service, right? It's like, how does Mutua Madrileña foresee mobility as a service? What is the role of the cities, the government of cities in this initiative? Do you see it is more driven by the private players or public players, or both? And finally, if you have the time, also, what sort of business model you see, behind mobility as a service as such?
I think it's true. For me, or from my point of view, I think it's the best combination is public initiative with a private help. I think you cannot be a sustainable city if the people who live in this city don't believe in that, and in the company who live in this city don't believe in that. We have different ideas. Madrid has these 2 combinations, public and private, but also you have, Zaragoza or Badajoz has their own public transport, but sustainable. It's put car sharing, paid by the government of the municipality. In Madrid, it's different. For our perspective, I think it's true that I'm really grateful that Madrid, in this case, the council, it's really worried about the traffic, how we enter in this city, how Madrid is bigger and bigger and bigger, and we have like a really problem with the logistic and also with the private car. What's changing with the mobility as a service? That you can use the way of mobility that you need in the moment that you need. So I explain. I want to go to my office by walk, fine, but I don't want to use a car because I'm really conscientious about the environment. So I decided to take a car sharing or a motor sharing with an electric way. So as for me, the mobility as a service led to our citizens to decide how I want to change my world. And for me, this is a really big message. I mean, when I have a private car, I forced to use it. I pay an insurance, I have to pay rent, I have to use it. With the mobility as a service, I can decide it in what moment and in what point I want to use this type of transport. And give the citizen in a mobility in the cities this option for me is fantastic. I mean, and I think Mutua it's helping to build a city more sustainable and with a really a lot of services. I mean, we are really. I think we are really enforced with the city. It's Mutua Madrileña, but we believe that we need to help to build a city more sustainable, more likely with the environment, but also it's a cool city. I mean, we have like a lot of sharing options, motorbikes, bikes, but in Mutua also we invest in TP, which is a small aggregator who tell you what's the best mobility way that you need to use for any point. So you go to an app and you say, I want to go from Castellana to Chamberí. What the best way with the less carbon print? And they say you need to go in a bus and after that by walk or in a car sharing or in your private car. And Mutua believe in these things. Mutua believe in that the client or our client can change the city path for the future. This is what Mutua believe and me too.
All right, very interesting. Ian, this is for you. I would like to kind of understand or how you see the situation in Spain. You know, you work for a multinational company, a large company with footprint all over the world. So how do you see mobility in Spain or how the initiatives of mobility are in Spain compare against other countries, right?
Yeah.
Like how do we rank and what do you think is most positive about what's going on in Spain versus what could be going on in other markets you operate?
Yeah. It's a good question, and I don't have the answers to the whole of the world, but I'm sure between all of us we're gonna solve this for sure. No, I think you can't really compare with the United States because of the bigger infrastructure and the wider streets. But I think the issue we have in Europe specifically is city centres quite small, and we have it here in the centre of Madrid. There's a centre of Barcelona. There's a lot of these city centres that are very small streets. You can't park, you can't circulate. So I think one of the key issues is working with the local councils, the town halls, the local councils, see what can be done for mobility. We've talked about there's possibilities to do foot couriers as well. Didn't talk about that before, but foot couriers is like post office delivery. I mean, you go with a vehicle into the centre and you can deliver packages by hand. But obviously, you need to have a centre where you can do the logistics. I think within Spain, there's a certain number of areas where we as a company are more concerned because of how it's developing and how we have to put the solutions in. Barcelona is a clear example where we've now with 3 years with these cargo bikes delivering in the city centre. Madrid was going to be an issue. I think they've postponed some of the restrictions on circulation in the city centre, but then we were building up to that anyway with the electric vehicles. Valencia is another city that we're focusing on. Compared to other European cities, there's some, I think, more of the northern cities. You can mention Holland, Belgium, where we're actually going to work on a bicycle is something normal, where deliveries with the cargo bikes can be done quite easily. And I think the town halls, the city centres are much more geared up for electric vehicles or for use of cargo bikes. So I think Spain is getting there, and I think this forum is just a sort of a demonstration of that we're actually thinking about this, and I think things are changing. I remember 10 years ago there was I think Jose, you were was saying, there was not a solution, a valid or a viable solution to having a vehicle that could take 500 kilos of freight, of packages, deliver, could run 200 kilometers, because some of the distance we need to go is 110, 150 kilometers a day, and they just didn't have that capability. And I think as we're seeing the technology is advancing, there's more solutions in the market, and that's what we're looking at. We're evaluating these solutions, looking at what we can do, and then really building a roadmap to how we can move forward. But I think we're in a living situation at the moment, and I think Spain is in a moment as well. It's living the change.
Very interesting. Jose, this goes for you. I think you are the only one in the panel that somehow represents a startup, right? Or some sort of new company compared against other larger companies. And I would like to ask you regarding this, what is the role, or how do you see the role of this innovation that can be brought by smaller companies to the market? This is one related with mobility. And the other would be also, since you are kind of representing this panel, the energy side, right? So everybody is thirsty of energy nowadays. At the same time, that needs to be sustainable. So if you can address any of those or both of the questions, regarding the first more on the entrepreneur role as you see it, and then the role of the energy in all this ecosystem, sustainable ecosystem.
Okay, thank you very much. We created Powen because we realized that with solar energy, storage, and electric vehicle, you could have mobility and energy for everything. So there were only one restriction, that is space. So if you are in the middle of the countryside in a house, you have a space with 10K or 15K euros, you have mobility and all the electricity you need during the day and during the night. Right? So this is happening. And when you have amortized that, electricity is for free. Something that is difficult to understand today because of the high price of electricity, but it's going to happen. So with that, we realized that on top of that, it was needed to give a service inside of the cities for electric vehicles to charge those cars, those motorbikes, or whatever. No? So our business is focused to help people to generate their own electricity and also help people to charge the electric vehicles that they have. So we created a hub inside of the city in order to help car sharing. For example, we charge all the car-to-go cars in Madrid. Also for logistics, the company called PAC, that we give them the service to charge all the electric vehicles inside. Also for individual people, for opportunistic, that's what we call. We have in Adif, in train substations, chargers for people to charge. So give the solution, but not only solution, also with green energy, in order to help them, because I think it's the biggest challenge. We are a little bit at the first steps, and we need to continue improving that grid, but this is a question of money, and we have, thanks to the European Union funds, we will have the opportunity in the next 2 years to really develop that grid that will help. So what we try in Powen is to help people to generate their own electricity in their house, in their business, in their farm, and not only use it for the normal use, but also for the mobility. No? And that's where we are focused.
And how do you see the role of the startups or the ecosystem of innovation from smaller companies? How do you see?
There is a huge opportunity because who give right now who are the ones who control the energy business or the petrol business? Are big companies that control the generation, that control the transport, and that normally control the sale to the final customer. And at that moment, with self-consumption, rooftop, or with electric mobility, that changed. So now I can go to your house, and I can put a solar panel, storage, and I'm selling you electricity without using Iberdrola generation, without using Iberdrola transportation, and without using Iberdrola commercialization. So I'm, by the back, entering in your house without the control of this big utility. Mm-hmm. If we go to mobility, if you want to enter in this business, you need to have a petrol station, you need to have a pipe, you need to have, I don't know how to say in English, refinería, but refinery. So, and now, Mutua or you in FedEx are able to have a car and you charge your car with electricity and you don't have a refinery, you don't have a pipe, you don't have a petrol station. So imagine the opportunity to enter in a different way to an amazing business, that is the electrical business and the mobility business, without any legacy at all. So we are quicker, more flexible. We don't need to have such a big investment. And those companies are so focused in surviving that they are not going to be able to switch as quickly as we're going to do. So the opportunity for me in renewable energy and in mobility, I always say for people who come to work in Powen, one thing. I'm opening you the window or the door to a business that there is no unemployment. It's always, everybody in this business always has a work.
That's true.
I think it's very interesting. I think in the way like everybody's being disrupted nowadays, right? I think mobility is not an exception. We have 4 minutes. I would like to give you the opportunity, of open stage to kind of say whatever you want, or whatever you want to kind of sum up on not the conclusion of the panel, but summing up the strategy of your company as you prefer, right? So Anna, you go first.
First, no, I think it's true. Mobility is changing. It's as Jose said, it's a door or a window to do whatever we want, and we have as a citizen, as a company, a role in that the world continue living after my grandsons, and I think this is our responsibility. And Mutua as company, it's truly confident in that way. Because of that, create the diversification department to looking for companies to cover our core business, which is the insurance of the private car, but also because we want to want more. So I encourage you to always believe in there are no traditional sector or industries like the insurance. If you want to be more, you can create more. So we are a traditional insurance company, but also we are in a platform for mobility, or we are in a sharing companies, and the people can say, hey, what's an insurance company invest in a sharing company? Because we want that and we believe in that we need to do more for our country, our company, and our earth. So this is my point.
All right. Ian?
Yeah, our world, right? No, I agree. I mean, if I said it very quickly, I think FedEx at a global level has a lot to play on carbon emissions. I think we have a solid plan. I think that the idea of decoupling growth from carbon emission or CO2 emissions is very real. I think we'll be very open to hearing about new innovations, new development, new techniques, and really develop a roadmap that is going to achieve our carbon neutral objective in 2040. So, as a company, we're very conscious of this. We have a lot to play in the European market, in the global market, and that's our firm commitment.
Great. And Jose?
Yes, no, for me, the summary is this is going to happen. It's happening quicker than everybody thinks. So being in this environment, look for the opportunity, look for the edge and the angle, and shoot. There is plenty of opportunity for this. I promise you. There is no unemployment in this sector.
Right, great. So fantastic. We still have 1 minute. I would like to thank all the panelists and all of you for being here. I think what is clear to me is that we will be facing a lot of opportunities linked to sustainability, but also some challenges. And probably, as I mentioned previously, the challenge is so huge that we will need everybody, like the public administration, the large companies, but also the ecosystem of startups to be able to progress forward and build more sustainable urban cities. So thank you very much. And we are around in case you want to comment or say anything. Thank you.